Thanks. I hate it.
Welcome to Melinden TV. I'm so excited about today's video. The idea came about because I came across an article from manofmany.com, which I'm going to link that below if you're interested in reading it. But it was about Mark Wahlberg's daily workout and diet. And I was like, oh, interesting. So I went ahead and read it. Now, depending on your age, you might know Mark Wahlberg as Marky Mark in the Funky Bunch, or you might know him for his movies. And your age will also reveal what movies you know him from. But I know Mark Wahlberg from both settings, and I really like his movies. And now that when I saw this article, I was like, oh, you know what? He's in very good shape. So if that's something that you'll remember, he's in a lot of action movies, or he's in a lot of movies where they kind of like flaunt him being shirtless and whatnot. So I read the article and I was like, how much fun would it be if I just tried this for a day? So here we are doing that. And the article had a nice breakdown of what his daily schedule is. Also, it walks you through one of his workouts, and it also lists all the foods that he's eating for the day. The first thing to give attention to is the fact that he wakes up at 2:30 in the morning and goes to bed at 7:30 at night. In order to prepare for this, I progressively went to bed earlier and earlier for the week leading up to my Mark Wahlberg day, because my bedtime is usually 10 p.m. So I tried to go to bed earlier and earlier that week in preparation so that I'd be able to wake up at 2:30 a.m. on this day. And let's see how the rest of the day went.
It's time for the first meal of the day. There weren't any quantities in the article, so I kind of just went by standard serving sizes that I found online. All that the article said was steel cut oats, peanut butter, blueberries, and eggs. I am not used to eating this early, obviously. I don't think I've ever eaten this early in my life. I'm also, not the kind of person who can eat a whole bunch of food when they first wake up. I'm not usually hungry when I first wake up. I'm also not used to eating before I go to the gym. I usually eat afterwards. This is my first time ever trying steel-cut oats. Oh my god, that was disgusting. This is my first time ever trying steel-cut oats, but old-fashioned oats are actually my go-to breakfast. I pretty much have oats every day for breakfast during the week. Steel-cut oats are different. It's smaller and harder. And the package said microwaving steel-cut oats is not recommended. And I was like, nah, whatever. I don't have time. Microwave what I want. And I understand now why they said that. It doesn't cook all the way when you microwave it. It kind of still remains a little hard and grainy. So now I have wet, hard, grainy oats. But I mean, they're still oats, so they taste good. But I mean, I have a whole package of steel oats to finish, and am I going to continue microwaving it every single time? Yeah. Yeah, I am. I'm already late. I'm already running off schedule. I was supposed to be at the gym 5 minutes ago, but just left my apartment because I finished making breakfast late, and then I still had to like get dressed for the gym, and now I'm running late. Must be nice to have a personal chef like Mark Wahlberg does, and then the food is just ready at the time that you want it to be ready, and all of the time that the food is being prepared, you can be getting dressed. Must be nice. Must also be nice to have a home gym and not have to drive 20 minutes to a gym that is open at 3:30 a.m. because my gym sure is not open at 3:30 in the morning on a Saturday. So I had to find a 24-hour fitness, and then I had to, and the closest one is about 20 minutes away, and then I needed to sign up for a guest pass, go there in advance and let them know what time I was coming in, because usually their guest passes don't work after 10 p.m. But I had the guy at the front desk write the person who's going to be working a note saying that I'm coming in at 3:30. And then I had to like go around the gym yesterday and make sure it had all of the equipment that I needed for this workout, or at least enough equipment to fake it. And that was part of why I got to bed late last night, because I ran into a ton of traffic coming from work and going to the gym to check it out. And then by the time I even got back to the house to pick up the supplies that I would need for the next day, it was already my bedtime. So we are off to a fantastic start. There's no Versa Climber or Jacob's Ladder at this gym, so I just did a bear crawl instead, and that was the warm-up. Time to get into the workout. Wasn't that bad. I felt like it was really well balanced, really challenging. If that was your regular workout routine, there's a lot of room for growth. I know that my arms are going to be feeling those battle ropes tomorrow. That's really tough. I never do battle ropes, so that was just really a challenging workout for me. I think that and the overhead, the one knee overhead press, that one was also really tough too, and they're both nothing like what I normally do. I'm still behind in schedule, so I was supposed to start the workout at 3:30 5:40 and I started at 4:10, which is 30 minutes behind. I was supposed to finish the workout at 5:15 and actually finished it at, left the gym at 5:40. So now we're only 25 minutes behind instead of 30 minutes behind. Hopefully I'll be able to catch up pretty soon in the day when the schedule slows down a little bit. I am now very, very far behind. I was supposed to have meal 2 at 5:30 a.m. and it is now 7 a.m. And this all started because breakfast was 5 minutes late, which made us get to the gym late. Also didn't help that the gym was 20 minutes away. So then we finished at the gym later than we were supposed to. And then had to drive 20 minutes back, which there wasn't even time for that in the schedule. There was 15 minutes between finishing workout and eating the next meal. So we were already going to be late there. And then we had to actually cook the food. So meal 2 is a protein shake, which I don't drink a lot of pre-made protein shakes anymore. I used to order them off of Amazon because I used to have them after my runs, but nowadays I kind of prefer making my own protein shakes with just protein powder and then fruits and vegetables, almond milk or coconut water or something. But I did have these left over from when I used to drink these. Premier Protein, chocolate. I know that Mark Wahlberg has his own line of protein powder and stuff, but I didn't want to buy it just for this because I already have plenty of protein powder and protein shakes and protein bars, and those things do expire, so I didn't want to buy another tub of protein and then risk something going bad before I was able to use it, so I figured I would just use what I had. So this was part of meal 2, and then 3 turkey burgers, 3 whole turkey burgers. We'll see if I'm able to finish that. And sweet potato. And in the article, it just said 5 pieces of sweet potato. And I'll be honest, it was really hot. That's not what I was being honest about. I don't know how much a piece of sweet potato is. So I just went by some arbitrary number that the internet told me, which is 114 grams. I weighed them raw and then cooked them in a rice cooker with the steam attachment. So this is how much sweet potato I have to eat now, in addition to 3 turkey burgers, and I'm already running an hour and a half late. I don't want to eat anymore. It's so much food. I hate it. I already have a hard enough time eating in the morning. Mind you, this is my second meal of the day already. I wouldn't even be awake on a normal Saturday. If it was a weekday, I wouldn't have eaten yet. I would have still been at the gym. So, it's just so much. Well, I'm finally done eating that entire feast for a village. Because I had to shovel such an outrageous amount of food in my mouth, it took me almost a full hour to eat meal 2, which means that I am now even farther behind. An hour and 50 minutes to be exact. I am gonna go take a shower. So, after my shower, I was like, awesome, I made up a little lost time. Problem was I wasn't feeling that great, so I took a nap. The good news is I feel better. The bad news is now I'm almost 3 hours behind on my day. but I guess that's fine. The next item in the day is golf, which we were supposed to do at 7:30. I don't golf. I don't have the equipment or the materials for golfing. I had originally thought, oh, maybe we can go to Top Golf instead, but Top Golf doesn't open until 9. We're running pretty far behind, so we could have gone at this point because now Top Golf is open, but we already decided on doing something else. So along the mentality of like golf is a thing that he enjoys doing as his hobby, so I'm going to do something that I enjoy. So I scheduled a stay-at-home date with my husband using this Adventure Challenge Couples Edition. This isn't sponsored, I just think it's cute and I'm really excited to use it. But basically what you do is there's like a little scratch off and you don't know what you're doing in advance, but it'll tell you like how much it's going to cost, how long it's going to take and what time of day you have to do it. And then there'll be certain icons that'll help you like get ready in advance, like you're going to need to be outdoors for this one, so like maybe do it during warmer weather, or this one includes food, this one includes going somewhere. And then you kind of just, you pick one and then you scratch it off and you do the activity. So this is our activity. I don't want to show you because I don't want to reveal any secrets for the book in case you get it. They have a couples edition. They also have a family edition, and they also have a friends edition. And you can buy a package that comes with the really fancy camera, so that you can, whenever you finish the activity, you stick a photo of you guys doing the activity next to it. The camera isn't mandatory. You can get a package without the camera, and then if you want, you can just take a picture on your regular phone and go to Walgreens and get it printed out for a lot less money. But I wanted the fancy camera, and if I end up liking the book, who knows, maybe I'll get the Friends edition, and maybe I'll get some friends also. It's time for meal 3. Well, actually, 3 hours ago was time for meal 3, but even though it's been a few hours since the last time I ate, I am still so full for meal 2 that the last thing I want to do right now is eat more food. But here I am, about to eat more food. 10 turkey meatballs, which is more than 3 times the serving size on the package, which I guess if I was, you know, a grown man golfing, working up my appetite, I would be really begging for those 10 turkey meatballs right now, but I'm not a grown man, and all I've done since my last meal was take a shower and a nap. So I'm pretty sure I never want to eat again. Food? We don't know her. She's canceled. Never again. I am so full. I feel pretty silly right now because I'm sitting outside on my front step wearing that, and it's February in New Jersey. I just got the dirtiest look from this guy walking by with like full winter coat and boots, and I'm just like hanging out. But apparently at 9:30 every morning, Mark Wahlberg does cryotherapy, which is basically you stand in a really, really cold chamber for about 3 minutes, and it's supposed to be for muscle recovery. It's kind of like the effect of an ice bath, except it's a lot colder than an ice bath, but because it's not wet, it's supposed to be more comfortable. Cryotherapy is dumb expensive, and I wasn't about to go get a one-day cryotherapy for like $160 or whatever it costs. So I'm just sitting outside to kind of mimic it. If I had done this at the right time, it would have been even colder. Right now, according to weather.com, it's 42 degrees, which is definitely a lot farther than the 150 degrees below zero that cryotherapy chambers claim to be. But honestly, I can't tell the difference. You can actually see my hand shaking. And I felt a little like silly sitting out here in like shorts and a lounge top. So I was originally gonna go sit in my car, but my car was actually too warm. So I'm sitting out on my front step, which is made of concrete, and trust me, it's pretty cold. Probably gonna take my butt a whole 30 minutes to warm up again. I was very eager to get myself back into some warm clothes. I don't know, I think the jury is out for cryotherapy. I'm sure some people swear by it. These are the same people who can afford to do it. Unless I had lots and lots of money, I don't know if I could justify spending that much money to go sit in a very cold chamber for 3 minutes. I hate the cold. I still can't feel my butt cheeks. I probably won't be able to feel them for the next full hour. I wonder if going to an actual cryo place is like that. I don't know. Mark Wahlberg, if you're watching this and you want to take me with you someday, I'm open to trying it out. But otherwise, there are other ways to recover besides voluntarily being very, very cold. You know, I'm more of like a heating pad or a massage kind of chick, because warmth is what I like. It's what appeals to my interests. I can't feel my fingertips just from sitting out in the cold for 3 minutes, and today is actually one of the warmer days. It's about 20 degrees warmer than yesterday. So it could have been a lot worse. And if I had done this when I was supposed to, it would have been, I don't know, maybe 5 to 7 degrees colder than it was just now. But honestly, that was pretty cold. The next item on my schedule is another meal. It was supposed to be 2.5 hours after the one that I just ate, meal 3. Right now, I don't even want to think about eating again. I literally just finished eating less than 10 minutes ago. So I'm just going to use this time to cut up and prepare some of my meals for later in the day, so that I don't get slowed down cooking later. And maybe by the time I'm finished preparing all of the food for the rest of the day, I'll have a little bit more of an appetite to eat my next meal. It's about 1:30, which means that I'm about 3 hours behind on my day still. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna have meal 4. Meal 4 is a salad with grilled chicken. I baked my chicken instead because I don't have a grill. And it also has hard-boiled eggs, which I don't typically order on salads. This was actually, fun fact, my first time making hard-boiled eggs ever. I used to help my mom make hard-boiled eggs when I was a kid. We used to have egg salad sandwiches a lot, but I have never made my own hard-boiled eggs as an adult until today. And it was a roaring success. I didn't put any dressing on my salad because it didn't say that dressing was one of the ingredients. I feel like it would have said so if I was supposed to at least put oil and vinegar. But honestly, there's a lot of there's egg yolks and there's avocados in this salad. So maybe that's to kind of take the place of the dressing so that you don't need any. Dude, I don't know. I'm honestly pretty excited about this salad, which are words that no one ever has said about a salad. But like, I just spent the past couple of hours cutting fruit and cutting fruit and vegetables and assembling this salad, and it looks pretty gorgeous. So you know what? Don't judge me. So the next item on the schedule was supposed to be at 11 a.m. and it was family time, meetings, and work calls, which I guess for Mark Wahlberg is just his like whatever things you need to get done time, and if not, then it's time with the family, which is cool. I didn't have any meetings or work calls to take care of because I'm not Mark Wahlberg. I was just going to use this time to maybe prepare some of the later meals, like the dinner meals, and maybe get some cleaning done around my apartment. But because I'm already way behind, I just kind of skipped the idea of this and moved right on to preparing the next meal, which is steak and peppers. I won't be able to completely finish it all the way because I did make an appointment for 2 o'clock, which we didn't get to that part of the schedule yet because we're already behind. But fun fact, it's not 2 o'clock. It's almost 3 o'clock because the people that I was supposed to go with are apparently also running behind. So everybody's a hot mess today. So this was the meal. This is the meal that I was supposed to have 4 hours ago, but I just fell so far behind. I'm pretty excited about it. This is my first time cooking steak. It looks like it cooked the way that I like it. I've ordered steak at restaurants before. I like steak. I've never like gone to the supermarket and bought a steak and then brought it home and cooked it. Gosh, that was exhilarating. It's actually like also super quick and easy to cook. The chicken took an hour and a half to cook and the steak took 10 minutes. So I'm gonna go back to the gym. The next thing on the schedule was 2 p.m. meetings / work calls, which I did schedule a meeting for 2 p.m. initially. It had to get moved to 3 o'clock, which was fine because my day was already messed up anyway. But so I already got that accomplished. I did that. I went at 3 o'clock. Then the next thing on the schedule was 3 p.m. pick up kids from school, which my children are cats, and they didn't have school today because it's a Saturday. So that's done. Then the next item was supposed to be 3:30 p.m., which is the next meal, but I literally just finished eating. So I'm going to put a bookmark right there and then come back to that later. I'm going to move on to the next item, 4 p.m. workout number 2. So Mark Wahlberg works out not once, but 2 times a day. So you saw the very intense workout that I did this morning, which kind of just feels like it was a week ago already. But that is only the first workout of the day. He also has a second, shorter workout. I had already had a plan for what I wanted to do at the gym for this workout, but because I'm so far behind schedule-wise today, I think I'm going to do something else, something a little shorter. And I have to go now because my gym closes at 7. I could go back to 24-hour fitness, but that's 20 minutes away. And if I go now, I can go to my gym, which is 3 minutes away. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The words don't exist for how much I don't want to eat right now. Like, I can't find the words to express how little I desire to put food in my mouth and body. But here I am, eating again. This time chicken and bok choy, which I've never prepared before in my life. I've eaten it, but I've never prepared it. Hi, bok choy is delicious. Thank you. It's 7:30, which is Mark Wahlberg's bedtime, which means I should technically be going to sleep right now, but I still have 2 more things to do. One, I have to take a shower, which I was supposed to do at 5, and then I have to have my last meal of the day, which I was supposed to have at 5:30. It is not even cooked yet, because when did I have time to do that? So I'm gonna go try to take a really quick shower now, and then immediately get into preparing another meal. Here we are, finally. It's 3.5 hours behind schedule, but we are finally at the final meal of the day. Let me tell you something about fish when you buy it frozen. Well, first of all, turkey burgers, when you buy them frozen, you can just immediately throw them in the frying pan. Turkey meatballs, when you buy them frozen, you can just immediately throw them in the microwave. Chicken breast, when you buy it frozen, you can just immediately throw it in the oven. Seafood, if you buy it frozen, you have to thaw it, which means you need to commit to having seafood like the day before and make sure it's thawing in the fridge from like the night before you actually want to cook it. The more you know. So I'm about to have the smallest piece of Atlantic cod that came in the package, and then I also mixed up some bok choy and spinach and sauteed it, and this is going to finally be my last meal of the day. Well, I was supposed to go to bed 3 hours ago, according to the schedule, but I have been running late all day, and I didn't want to go to sleep right after I ate my last meal, so I stayed up for a little while longer, entered my last entries to the benefit brow search, and I'm so tired. I was afraid when I originally found out that my bedtime was going to be 7:30. I was like, I wonder if I'm even going to be tired by then. Well, it's not 7:30 and I'm definitely tired. So, I am done with my full day of living on Mark Wahlberg's schedule. Good night.
The wrap it up portion of this video is just for me to quickly run through any likes or dislikes, or I have some data for the nerdy people, and then also some lessons learned. Not only lessons learned for me to incorporate in my life, but lessons learned from doing this video, because I'd like to do more videos like this in the future. And I've definitely learned a lot about how I can execute videos like this better later. So let's start with the elephant in the room, and that's the schedule. Obviously, I failed, and I failed really badly. I think the how close everything was to each other in the schedule time-wise is not sustainable for the average person. It really only works for someone who, you know, has a home gym, has a personal chef, because otherwise it's very difficult for someone to get everywhere. on time. And that was the issue that I had, is that like I was behind from the get-go because I just like there wasn't enough time in between the activities early in the morning. And yeah, there were more gaps of time in the afternoon and more free time, but by then I was already so far behind that I spent the whole day just trying to catch up. So something that I might do better next time is I need to spend more than a week preparing for something like this next time I do it. Realistically, I might have been okay if I had cooked all of the food for this day in advance and just had it in the fridge, and then every meal just, go pull out the container and microwave it. The fact that I had to cook all of the meals on the day that I was eating them, cooking's a time-consuming thing. So that kind of really set me behind. And it's not really an issue for Mark Wahlberg because he is a personal chef. I thought that waking up at 2:30 a.m. would be harder than it was. It was still hard, but it was not the hardest part. However, next time, if I'm going to be waking up at a time that's drastically different than when I normally wake up, or if I'm going to bed at a time that's drastically different, I think I need to give myself a little bit more than a week to make that transition. I gave myself a week because I saw the article and I was just like, oh, I want to do this right away. And I probably should have given myself more prep time, more time to prep the food, more time to gradually go to bed earlier and wake up earlier. Obviously, the schedule was the hardest part for me, just keeping on track and finding time for everything. And then once I fell behind, it was just a mad dash trying to catch up for the day. Let's talk about the workout next. So I did like the workout. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was challenging. That's not usually my style of working out. You'll notice a lot of the movements were isolated. And I listened to a podcast recently about how it kind of raises a red flag if you're going to the gym and the movements that you're doing have you sitting down or lying down. And yeah, like it will isolate a muscle group and make sure that you're using just, that muscle group and not pulling momentum from the rest of the body. But it's kind of putting the rest of your body at rest, and that's not great for the muscles that you're engaging because they're not being supported by the muscles that usually support it. The movements aren't very functional. So that's not usually the style of exercises that I usually do. But I think some of those exercises are interesting. Will I incorporate any of them into my own routine? I don't know. I might try battle ropes again. I feel like I got a great workout from that. Some of the balance exercises, that's something that I could really benefit from. And resistance band work, I finally found a use for one of my resistance bands. So that's cool. I don't use them as much as I could, and I have them, so why not? I didn't think the workout was outrageously difficult. I'm kind of wondering, like, eating all that he eats and doing that workout, I don't know how he has a six-pack because I don't feel like I was ultra challenged. I don't feel like I gave 100% at the gym, but I did the workout. If you're interested in seeing the reps theme and duration and the weights I used, I'm going to pop up a scan of my workout notebook right on the screen somewhere, probably covering my face, but that's okay because, you know, you probably care more about that anyway. But yeah, and then the working out twice in one day is not a huge issue for me because I'm usually running 3 different training plans at the same time because I'm a distance runner and an OCR athlete. So when my seasons overlap, I have to spend a lot of time at the gym because running is a very time-consuming thing, but I also can't skimp out on my strength. So during that time of the year, I'm very used to spending multiple hours in the gym and sometimes not being able to finish it all in my morning routine and having to go back again at night. So 2 workouts in one day is not a super foreign concept to me. It's just, you know, really difficult for someone to do if they don't have the time, which I guess if you're Mark Wahlberg is not an issue. About the cryotherapy recovery, I'm sorry guys, I would have loved to try it for real and give you my feedback on it, but I couldn't justify something so expensive just for 3 minutes. Who knows, maybe it's something I'll try in the future. In fact, hold me to it. If I ever get to the point where this channel gets monetized and I'm able to like use money from this channel and from sponsorships and from affiliate codes to be able to put that money back into the channel, one of you reminds me to go get cryotherapy and give you my feedback on it. But in the meantime, there are other ways to recover that don't cost so much. You can stretch, you can get a relaxing massage, you can get a sports massage, you can go in the sauna room or the steam room, you can go in the hot tub, like you can ice yourself, you can put a hot pad on yourself. You don't need to spend $100 and whatever for a 3-minute recovery. And I'm sure the people who do it swear by it, but the people who do it are also the only ones who can afford it. And finally, let's get into food. I actually really liked the menu on this meal plan. It was kind of a lot of stuff that I'm used to eating, a lot of stuff that I like. Lessons learned from the meal. Meal number 1 was my favorite. I feel like that's very much a typical meal that I could have on a regular basis. And not only was it delicious, but it was balanced. We have oats to be the carb. We have eggs to be the protein. We have peanut butter to be the fat. And then we've got blueberries to be a fruit serving. And all those things taste delicious together. I could definitely see myself having that as a breakfast again. Other things that I learned is how to cook bok choy. And that's 1. And 2, that bok choy is delicious, and I'd like to purchase it again because it's just a delicious, refreshing vegetable to eat. I also learned how to cook a steak to perfection, which is a very cool skill to have. And I also learned that you can steam a sweet potato in a rice cooker, which is really valuable information to me moving forward because sweet potatoes take way too long to cook in the oven. And now I found an option that is 1,000,000 times easier and 1,000,000 times faster. And I love sweet potatoes, and this gave it like the perfect texture. So that's great. But yeah, I think the menu here is proof that eating healthy doesn't mean that the food you eat is gross. We had a lot of variety in the menu, like a variety of vegetables, a variety of protein sources, and food that's actually really, really delicious. You don't have to have the same exact thing for every meal, and you don't have to have things that are gross. So that's what I really liked about the menu. The only problem was it was way too much food. And who knows, maybe that's my fault, because if you take a look at the article, you'll see that there aren't really any quantities for the food portion. So I just kind of went by standard serving sizes. And meal 2 was just so large that it took forever to eat and also took away my appetite for the rest of the day. And I just did not feel like eating for the rest of the day, which is a bummer because that was meal 2 out of 7 meals. And that would be my biggest complaint. Like my biggest struggles in doing this challenge today were 1, sticking to the schedule, and 2, eating so much food. And mind you, not only did I have to eat 7 meals, but I also had to prepare 7 meals from scratch. It's a lot. But I did like the food itself, and I learned a lot about food that I like and would like to eat again in the future. It was just way too much. So I'm going to pop up a scan of my food journal for the day somewhere here on the screen. And this next information is for the nerdy people who kind of care about the stats, calories, and macros. So I added up all of the calories and macro values for everything that I had in the day. If you're curious, this diet is a 3,204 calorie diet. It sounds like a lot, but let me put out there that this is 7 very healthy meals, very clean meals, and it was a little over 3,000 calories, and I have eaten over 3,000 calories not having 7 meals. I think the idea of having 2,000 calories a day is outdated, and for an athlete who needs to fuel their workouts, they tend to eat a lot more than that. I definitely eat more than 2,000 calories a day because as an athlete, I need that fuel. But 3,204 calories for the day sounded super overwhelming at first. And then I was like, wait a second, this is 7 meals worth of food. And that just goes to show you that that when you eat clean and you eat healthy, your foods are mostly low calorie and going by calories alone. Like if you're someone who counts calories, which I don't really recommend, but if you are someone who counts calories, you can get more food in your day for less calories if the food that you're eating is just clean, low calorie food like lean proteins and healthy fats and lots of produce, fruits and vegetables. This next portion is for the nerds, the people who count macros. I'll be honest with you, I'm not one of them, but really briefly what that is this belief that everything you eat for the day can be broken down into one of 3 categories: a protein, a carb, or a fat, and that information is just available on the nutrition label. But people who count macros do so under the belief that you should have a certain ratio of carbs to protein to fat in your day. And, you know, what percentage of each one depends on the person, and people will pick out what percentages and ratios work for them. This is not something that I've ever followed. So I can't say that I have a ton of experience or knowledge about it, but I do know that there's an app on my phone that I occasionally will food diary with, and it has like a default macro setting for me in which the ratio is protein 25, carbs 40, and fat 35. So I'm guessing that's a pretty typical average ratio. But just so you know, the macros for this day. So we had 322.5 grams of protein, 195.5 grams of carbs, and 133.5 grams of fat. And maybe you're screaming if you're someone who counts macros, because these ratios are pretty much nothing like the ones that I just read off, and they're probably very different from yours too. First of all, this is a bunch of protein. Remember, I did a video on how much protein you should have in a day, and obviously it varies by person, but a rule of thumb, if you don't really know how much to go for and you want like a starting point, is for athletes, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is the guideline for people who kind of really just don't know where to start and want to start from somewhere. That doesn't work for everyone, but it's a thing. I'm going to link that video up on the screen if you're interested. 322.5 grams is like probably twice the amount that I would reasonably expect to be eating in a day. That's a lot of protein, and I'm not quite sure if a person needs that much. I think that is a whole bunch of protein. And you can see that there were a lot of very lean protein sources. There was at least one lean protein source in every single meal, I think. And some of the meals had very large servings, like 3 turkey burgers, like a 7-ounce steak. Lots of protein in those. Chicken, cod, like those are very protein-dense foods, which is great. Protein is essential for muscle growth, but do you need that much in a day? I don't really think you do. And again, while I don't pay much attention to macros, just going by the ratio, there was so much more protein than anything else. And usually a lot of the default ratios you'll see will have you intaking the most carbs. Like carbs will be the highest ratio in your diet, followed by fat, followed by protein. And this ratio was completely not that. Now, this is not something that I pay attention to or count on a regular basis. However, I can just look at these numbers and look at the menu and be like, oh, okay, well, this was a little bit of overkill, and kind of leave it at that. And for anyone who thinks that eating healthy is super expensive, I went ahead and added up the monetary values of everything I ate in this day. Now, when I originally went shopping, I went 2 places. I went on a huge grocery haul, and I got half the groceries from Costco and half of them from ShopRite. I don't know if you have those places near you, but Costco is a big wholesaler place. They sell food and other things, and ShopRite is just my local grocery store. And I think I spent about $100 in groceries, but keep in mind that when you go on a grocery haul, that stuff is going to not only be for the one day, for the one meal, that stuff is going to last because there's multiple servings in each package or each container. So what I did was I divided what I paid for each item by the amount of servings that I actually consumed in this day to find out how much money's worth of food I was eating in each meal, and I added up how much it cost to eat like Mark Wahlberg in one day. $22.55. I'm going to put the breakdown on the screen right here so you can see how much each individual food cost. But to me, that's outrageous because I had 7 meals. I had more food in this one day than I probably had in any other day of my life, except for the day of the Rhode Island, of the Narragansett Marathon, and then I went to an all-you-can-eat place, and I really ate a lot. But this is a lot of food, and when you are buying the groceries yourself and cooking them yourself, as opposed to going out to eat or ordering in or only buying like processed food, it costs $22.55. How many of you have dropped that on one meal alone going out to eat? And those meals aren't as nearly as nutritious as this. So for anyone who thinks that eating healthy is an expensive thing that they can't do, I just ate 7 meals for under $25. So I think you need to rethink that mentality. The most expensive item was the New York steak, which is not something that, is for everyone. Not everyone likes steak. That was the most expensive thing. Everything else was cheaper than that. Wild, and I think that was a huge eye-opener to me because I definitely order out way too much, and it's not because I don't like healthy food or I don't like fresh produce or I don't like proteins that I've cooked at home. It's just because I'm lazy and don't have a lot of time to cook. But like when you're saving this much money by cooking your own food, like ignoring just the the health benefits of cooking your own food and incorporating so much produce in your diet, like ignoring that, just talking about dollar amounts, think about how much you can save by going grocery shopping and cooking your groceries and eating that food. So it's definitely something to consider for the future. Just a lesson learned in my life that I need to be grocery shopping and cooking that food more often because it's healthier, but it's also a lot cheaper. So do I think that I succeeded today in being Mark Wahlberg? No, I don't think I did. I think I succeeded in the workouts, but I totally tanked on the schedule. And while I was able to prepare and eat all of the food that was in his diet, it was definitely a struggle for me. And it was to the point where I was eating just to complete the challenge and not because I actually felt hungry and that my body needed fuel. I felt like I was overeating and it made me feel bloated the whole day. It made me feel uncomfortable and I felt like I was eating way too much and I wasn't enjoying the food anymore. I ate some really delicious things that I didn't really even get to enjoy because I was just so not hungry. Which food isn't supposed to feel like that. Food is supposed to make you feel nourished and fueled. And, you work up your appetite and then you fuel yourself and you eat food that's going to make you have energy and make your muscles grow. And I just felt like I was eating food to eat food. And that's not a healthy relationship to have with food. I felt like I severely overeat and could have gotten by without at least 2 of these meals. While I learned a lot, I don't think that I succeeded all the way with today's challenge. But I love to hear what you guys think. So what do you think would have been the hardest part for you doing this challenge, eating like Mark Wahlberg and following his schedule and working out like him for a day? Again, you can check out the article if you want to try any of these things on your own. I'd really like to do more of these in the future, so let me know if you have any suggestions. It does need to be someone who there is a lot of information available on their current exercise and diet routines. So keep that in mind when you're making your suggestions, but I'd be willing to do this again, and I think I absolutely will do this again. So hey, let me know your thoughts. Like this video if you like Mark Wahlberg. Like this video if you don't like Mark Wahlberg. Just like this video because I woke up at 2:30 in the morning and ate 3,000 calories of healthy food to film it. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. I post new fitness and health and nutrition content on the first Wednesday of the month, and I also have my Battle of the Boxes fitness subscription unboxing series on the penultimate day of each month. Just a few reminders there is still time to join my March Core Challenge. It is a free 21-day challenge that focuses on strengthening your core, which is super important for improving your posture and providing a good basis for the rest of your exercises. It's not just about gaining a six-pack, but hey, that's part of it too. And it's a good challenge because it takes exactly 7 minutes a day for 21 days. Not a huge time commitment, definitely something that you can do at the gym or at home with minimal equipment. So if you're interested in signing up for that, it's completely free. You can find the sign up in the description box below, along with some other fitness challenges that I have planned for this year, so go ahead and check that out. And I also have my giveaway still running in order to celebrate my first anniversary of my channel here on YouTube, and that is ending tomorrow. I think the last day to sign up for that giveaway is tomorrow. So I'm going to link the video with the information about the giveaway right up here, and then you'll be able to find the link to the giveaway in the description box below. So make sure you go ahead and enter that. And with all that said, I will see you guys next time. Bye.